Thermolite is a hollow core fibre that allows air to be trapped inside, as well as in the knit of the fabric, giving more warmth to weight than any other line of fabric we use. Excellent breathability and wicking helps with temperature and moisture management, and we use a super insulating 110 gram per meter squared Thermolite to seriously extend the comfort range of your sleeping bag. The hooded mummy shape and box foot construction is designed to line the inside of a sleeping bag and can also be used alone in warm weather. The knit, rather than weave, is incredibly stretchy, which allows you to move around without feeling constricted or claustrophobic. A contrasting colour along the top edge makes it easier to find the opening. A draw cord with mini cord lock lets you cinch the hood tight to keep the cold out. All our Reactor liners are easily machine washable. For cold weather when your sleeping bag alone won't cut it, grab your Reactor Extreme, the warmest knit sleeping bag liner we offer. Also available in a long version for the vertically blessed.
Despite what you may have been told about rectangular sleeping bags being only for cushy car camping, the Galactic 30-degree bag will blow away your expectations. The Galactic zips up effortlessly with an anti-snag zipper. Snuggle in with this top cord adjustment. If you're lucky enough to be camping with a warm cuddle buddy, the Galactic bags can zip together into a double bag, or unzip as a blanket. The Galactic compacts into the included stuff sack, making it the perfect option for summer backpacking trips. Available in regular and long lengths, find your perfect fit and cuddle up in the warm and cozy Galactic sleeping bag on your next camping adventure.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Miranda from REI. Sleeping bag temperature ratings are a great way to get an apples-to-apples comparison of different sleeping bags. But what do these numbers mean and how do we arrive at them? Let's talk about ISO standardized testing and how sleeping bags are tested and rated. When you're looking at sleeping bags, you'll often see an ISO temperature rating. What this means is that the bag manufacturer has paid for the International Standards Organization, or ISO, to test the sleeping bag. This test is conducted in a temperature-controlled room with a test dummy that's covered in heat sensors. And this test dummy is wearing a base layer top, base layer bottom, as well as a hat and socks. And they're testing it on a winter weight sleeping pad. The sleeping pad, as well as the apparel the test dummy is wearing and the temperature in the room, is standardized for all ISO testing. After these tests are finished, ISO comes up with two different numbers. The first one, or the higher number, is the ISO comfort rating. This number is the lowest temperature at which the average cold sleeper will be comfortable in the bag. The second number, or the lower number, is the lowest temperature at which the average warm sleeper will be comfortable in the bag. You'll often see these referred to as the women's temperature rating for the warmer temperature and the men's temperature rating for the colder temperature. This is just because women in general will sleep colder than men. One thing to keep in mind is that a women's bag that's rated for 15 degrees is going to be slightly heavier than a men's bag that's rated for 15 degrees. And this is just because the difference in how women sleep. And also because that women's bag is using the comfort rating, whereas the men's bag is using that lower limit rating from the ISO testing. If you are a cold sleeper, you might be inclined to go with a women's bag regardless of your gender identity, but keep your body type in mind, as the bags also have different construction, and empty spaces within the bag or spaces that are too tight are also going to affect how warm it is. While the ISO standardization is great, there are some limitations to the test. The first thing is that they do use a winter weight sleeping pad, something like this one, which has an R value of 5.7. You may not use something like this. You might use something more like this, which has an R value of 2. So keep that in mind when you're looking at the temperature ratings, as your sleeping pad does make a huge difference in the warmth of your sleeping bag. The other thing is that you might be sleeping in base layers that are warmer or not as warm as the test dummy in the ISO test. If you're sleeping in your skivvies, you're definitely not going to be as warm in your sleeping bag as they are when you're there testing the bags. Another thing is that not all manufacturers are going to pay for the ISO testing, so you might see on some casual sleeping bags that they don't have an ISO temperature rating just because they're not necessarily predicting that people are going to use that bag in extreme conditions. Speaking of extremes, if you are looking for a bag for extreme cold, unfortunately ISO testing doesn't test bags that are below 0 degrees. So again, keep that in mind when you're shopping for your sleeping bags. The last thing is that while the ISO standards are good for averages, the temperature that you are in your bag is going to vary greatly depending on whether you're a warm or cold sleeper, or if you've eaten a lot of food, or if you haven't eaten enough. So again, these are just there to give you a good idea of how the temperatures on the bags work.
Hi, I'm Emily, and I'm going to walk you through setting up the Hornet tent. So we'll start out with the footprint, laying that down on the surface that you're camping on, and locating the head ends of the tent, which are these straps with the C-clips on them. Making sure that the logo is also facing up, that is the top of the footprint. Now I'll put my tent on the footprint and we'll get that all set up. The head end of the Hornet has 2 Jake's feet connections. These are going to be connecting to the footprint on the C-clips. To connect to the Hornet footprint, simply take the C-clips and guide them through the webbing loop behind the Jake's foot. Attach the other head end of the footprint to the tent. At the foot end of the tent, you'll take the volumizing strut and the footprint guy out point, and you will stake those out like so. Taking our pole structure, we will now take the head end of our tent, which has the 2 V-sectioned poles, and we will attach the ball end joints into the Jake's foot. These simply snap right in to the small Jake's foot joint here. At the foot end of the tent, locate the grommet on the tent body itself, as well as the grommet on the footprint. Put the pole tip through both grommet points. Attach the tent body to the temples by simply snapping the fly bar onto the temples. And finish by setting up all of the pull clips on the temples. Attach the head end of the fly to the tent body using the clip to the Jake's foot. At the foot end of the fly, there's an adjustable loop that attaches to the same stake point as the tent body and the footprint. You can adjust these points by simply pulling on this adjustable cord lock. Finish staking out your tent by locating your vestibule and staking those out. These also have an adjustable cord lock that you can use to adjust the tension of your vestibule. The Hornet has a feature using a volumizing clip, which helps pull the tent body away from itself, creating more livable space. To utilize this full feature, simply use the clip and attach it to the small loop inside the rain fly. This will pull the body of the tent away from itself, creating more livable space. Finish by staking out your other vestibule and attaching your other volumizing clip. All there's left to do is adjust the tension on your rain fly and use any guy out points if you think it's going to be windy. And that's the Hornet.